How's it going, everybody? I'm super excited to be here today. Got some exciting stuff. How is my audio? I always, now that I don't have my little arm that holds my microphone, I always want to double check now. Let me get my camera running. Perfect. Okay. So, lots of stuff to go over. It's been a pretty good week. Let me know in chat if my audio is all good. And if anyone knows how to change my name inside of on YouTube, I'd love to know, because like my channel URL handle is North Commerce, but then like it still says North Plugin as the and it says North Plugin for some reason. I don't know why it says North Plugins even. It could be slightly louder. Let me double check. Let's see here. I can bump these levels here. How does that sound? Does that sound a little better? I'll toggle this up. I really need to just go on Amazon and buy a new arm thing. So, okay, cool. So hello, Ethan. Hello, Matej. My guy, we've been working on Gutenberg blocks, finishing up the product block right now. Working on a single page checkout form block as well. So lots of really, really cool stuff in the mix. And as always, we'll just go over kind of like what's new, what's coming up, what the next update will look like, and then any questions that you guys have. And today specifically, I want to talk about, last week we talked about like, okay, what features would you guys want and how can we plan for the future? As we start to roll out core features, what should be a priority? And it's always good to keep those things in mind, like right now as we're building, so we can sort of like consider certain implementations or certain features or just rework our roadmap or whatever. And so we'll talk about that today. But specifically today, I want to also go over like, okay, here's some use cases that I want. We talked about last week. That's great. This week, I want to go over like, what are you guys building? Are you working with clients right now? Do you want to start split testing your existing store with North Commerce and see how conversions differ between your existing solution and then North? That's always that's something that's interesting, and I'm talking to people right now about doing that. So I don't. Let me double check here the Discord. I got a message here. Let's see. Okay. So it looks like people are joining. Okay, well, let's jump into kind of like what's new and what we've been working on. So we've built webhooks and it's worked and it's been great. And now we've sort of been able to explore a few other like side effect benefits from our current implementation of webhooks. And so that's super nice. So you'll see two new things on the next update with in the settings area, and that's going to be webhooks. And then we're calling it Action Scheduler right now. We're using Action Scheduler, the tool that was been built, for WooCommerce and stuff. We'll end up calling this like event logs or something like that. But what will happen is all the events for emails, SMS, webhooks, and coupon creation, coupon scheduling, will all be handled by this queue system, Action Scheduler. And so what that kind of gives us the power to do now is offload some of these actions into the background. So we could, you can queue them up and run them at a specific time, or you can just have them run instantly, but they're doing it. They're done in the background on the server, so it's not delaying any other like flows that you have, or order creation, or any front end stuff that your customers are trying to accomplish. So that's super, super nice. Let me see if I can show you a quick example. So let me schedule. I'll add a coupon really quick and just schedule it. So like generate a random coupon. And let's do like in the future or something, and then save the coupon. I don't know if I've set my time zone on this particular instance. but now you should see I have this in 23 hours, so like a day from now, publish this coupon. And so now I've queued this event up. It's in the background, and you don't have to worry about it. And then if there's any issues, you'll know about it. But generally, it'll be something you won't have to worry about. But if you do need to check the logs or see what events were completed or failed or whatever, then you'd be able to do that. And that applies also for emails, text messages, webhooks, all that stuff. So that'll be super nice. This will be something that we'll use for probably events that are like not super common or common enough, but they're like they're small events, like sending emails. I know that there's talk about us wanting to like in the community moving subscriptions over to like the server side and not having like a service like Stripe or PayPal manage subscriptions. So that's something that we could talk about as well. I don't know in terms of like performance, like when you have thousands of subscribers. I know there's a great store that has an example like that. I think they've moved off Action Scheduler since they've grown to what they are now, I believe. But generally it's like, okay, well, we could use Action Scheduler for specific use cases, so like one of the big things is like certain countries don't have Stripe available, so Stripe subscriptions or a service like Stripe, like you wouldn't be able to manage subscriptions on. And so what's the next best thing? Well, you can manage it on your own server. So it's but it kind of depends on how many subscribers you have. Our order creation process is a lot lighter than other solutions, and so it could still work just fine and have no problems. I haven't fully tested it yet, but it's also things we're toying around with. So it's like, do we give maybe we give you the option as a user to use like Stripe subscriptions, and it's like Stripe is proven, they have a robust system, you don't have to worry about it, it's all good. But if you don't have that opportunity to use Stripe, then you could offload it to your own server, and then if you've kind of fit certain criteria, or maybe you just need to pay for a bigger server, whatever it ends up being, maybe we'll give you the opportunity to accommodate that. So, I mean, like with the system right now, it's not like we have to like build, we have to build a whole new system for that. Like it's like the webhook stuff. Like everything happens through the same entity, like the same system for order creation, for quantity, for payments, for all that stuff. And so it would be easy to just hook that into Action Scheduler to queue it for subscriptions. My microphone setup is pants. It's hilarious. Yes, you're right. I have this. Look at this. Like this is kind of where I'm at right now. I have like my arm. I could probably make something easily, but the clamp broke, so I just need a new clamp, which I could probably buy the clamp, and I think it just hooks into the bottom. But as long as you can hear me, that's all that matters. So Action Scheduler is a great tool. It's been, Automatic has worked on it and others, and so it's a great system. But that's what we've kind of decided to use for queuing for things like emails, SMS, webhooks, and all that stuff. So going into webhooks now, so we've implemented webhooks. I've shown like simple little screenshot demonstrations of how that'll work inside the Discord. But something that we kind of thought up the other day, actually Monday, so yeah, 2 days ago, was we can create any sort of filter that you want inside of North Commerce, like really, really easily. So, let me know in the chat what you have for some ideas of like what kind of events you would want to happen or have access to in North Commerce, and I'll give a few examples to kind of get your brain turning. So, for example, we could create a webhook event. So, say you come in here to webhooks and you're like, okay, cool, I want to add a new webhook, and you click Add Webhook, and here I just have like this little placeholder UI to that shows all of our database tables. And but instead of these being database tables, what they would be is events for a specific table themselves. So we would have like, in this area, we would have orders. And then inside of the orders drop-down menu, you would have a list of events. And those events would be like, a customer's first order. So if you want something to happen on a customer's first order, then we can do whatever you want. When it comes to maybe the first ever order on your store, you want something to happen, we can trigger an event with that. And all these would be events that are available to you directly out of the box. And they'd be available via webhooks. We could even set like an event system to trigger certain emails, like email notifications. So now here we have like order confirmation, payment error, and shipping confirmation. We could have like customer's first order email, and maybe in the customer's first order email there's specific instructions you want to give to them so that they know how things work in the future. When it comes to these events, we could do like pretty much anything we'd want. So if an order has a country of like GB or whatever, Great Britain, so like any customer that's from Great Britain, we want to trigger this webhook event and do X, Y, and Z. That's an option. And so now what sort of happens is like this evolution of webhooks. Not only do we get like all of this stuff for webhooks and for you guys to do whatever you want with like Zapier, your own custom endpoints, Pabbly, Make, whatever tool you use. It also gives us the option to now hook into those things and utilize those for North Commerce core features even. And so it's like if someone purchased a specific product and then send this email or send this text message offer. And so there's a ton of stuff we can do with this new, like, I'm calling it a webhook system, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit more than just the webhook system, and so, or just for specifically webhooks. And so that's pretty cool. Does that make sense? Do you guys kind of get what I'm saying? If you have questions, let me know in the chat, or if you have ideas of like what you would want for your own like event, that could be great. So it could be for anything. So when a product is created, when a new payment method is added to a customer, any database event really. So like we can go through these here. Ethan says, yes, that's awesome. Thank you, Ethan. So yeah, and this is all like part of the process too, to like we do some of this stuff up front, and then it pays a bunch of dividends in the long run. So any CRM integration like Drip or ActiveCampaign or whatever will you'll be able to have these events even in those systems. And so like abandoned cart events are like pretty standard. You see like in Drip or ActiveCampaign or something, like you could choose a specific store that's integrated with them, and then you would have like a list of events to choose from. Like in theory, we would be able to create any event ever. Nazim says, well done, simply hook up 2 newsletter programs. Yes, absolutely. So like you could totally tag anyone. Do you think I could use these webhook events to integrate with Facebook's conversion API? Yes, for sure. So that could be interesting too. So I think that there's a lot of really cool tools out there that make tracking conversions on the server side with Facebook a lot more accurate. But when it comes to feeding data to Facebook, like via the conversion API, you could in theory like send you could send a bunch of data to Facebook's conversion API. And so, okay, this is actually really interesting. So Ethan says, like purchase webhook could trigger my purchase API event to Facebook. Yes, 100%. So like, what you could do is you could expand on any of these tables here. So let's say, for example, we have this purchase webhook for when a new order is created, and we want the customer's email address, we want the customer's like order total, we want the customer's address and phone number. We can expand on all this information. So like the generic like order table has just like order details. But then we can expand on that and send all of that data somewhere. So like the conversion API. So that's a really good use case, and could be helpful. And then you could send more. I would have to look at the conversion API and see like what like parameters or arguments you could pass through it. But I mean, in theory, you're now like limitless in the data that you can share to Facebook. Like that you could. I don't know if they take in like certain line item criteria, so they know like you're interested in this type of product based on the title of the product. I don't know, but you could do that. It could be interesting. So I'd want to look into that for sure. Bit integrations is within WordPress LTD and can hook between WordPress plugins. Yeah, so like bit integrations, I know that there's another, what is it, like WP Webhooks? I can't remember. So like you automatically get connected to hundreds of other apps with this system. And then now that you can customize events, it's like, oh, okay, so I have full control. So now I don't have to create these complex like systems in Zapier or in bit integrations or in Make or whatever, and they're just ready for you out of the box. And like, even if you message support and we're like, hey, I have this really specific use case, I really want you guys to implement X, Y, and Z. The way that the system is built is like, it's literally like, I guess I could maybe show. I don't get into too deep in the weeds, but it'd be really helpful. It'll help your business be more flexible. You can convert more customers and then engage with more customers too, like in a really specific way, so that you can get them coming back to purchase or retain them as subscribers or whatever. So that'd be super, super interesting. Any other questions or thoughts or comments before I move on? And also let me know what you think of the stream quality. I just changed something too, so if it seems pixelated or anything, let me know. Any questions or thoughts though before I move on? I know, give the stream a second to catch up. Okay, so another thing I wanted to bring up was like, what are you guys working on? I'd love to learn more about what you guys are working on and how North can support you with that. One of the things I brought up last week, I believe it was, or the week before maybe, was like, if you are if you sell a service, or if you sell digital products or courses or something, you should be using the single page checkout form. Like I think this was an email I sent out to some people yesterday. Like if you sell a service, you should build a sales page, and I'd love to help you build a sales page, and then use a single page checkout form. It's easy to use. It converts well. You can set different defaults here. You can hide shipping, and it'll make it so much easier for you to just spin up these like sales pages, or these sales pages for each service that you offer, and then you can easily sell these services. And so if that's something that you guys are wanting to do and upgrade to North, or maybe you're already existing like LTD holders, we could build that page together and integrate the single page checkout form. So let me know in chat if you guys have any. If you're watching this as a replay as well, still feel free to comment or email me, and I would love to just like help you build a sales page out. We add North single page checkout form, and then just see how it converts. And then when it comes to full blown e-commerce stores, I want to help people also build or migrate an existing store to North. So migrations are always going to be the most challenging thing. Really quick, Ethan says, on single page checkout forms, can you add custom fields? As of right now, you can't, but we're starting to build our our single page checkout form as a block editor block. And so what you'll do, what you'll be able to do then is add custom fields, and it'll just be another option. Like another block you could just add, and then you'd be able to label it a certain way, and then it could go into like WP options in the database, or it could go into our own like meta tables inside of North. We just haven't built that yet. But yes, the short code is sort of like limited, but when it comes to the block editor block, you'll have the option to create custom fields and stuff like that. So also, what would you want to like? What types of data would you want to create? Like just or not create, but add to the form, like drop down menus or just regular input fields as well, or maybe radio buttons to click on, checkboxes or something like that. Let me know too, because that could also help with how we want to build out the block for that. And then you also get order bumps here. There was an issue with that, and so I'm fixing that, and then in the next update you'll have order bumps available as well, so you could sell a service, and then if you want to order bump like a hosting management or an audit for something else or whatever, like a little order bump, then you could do that. Some of the digital products I need to collect, like birthdays, etc. Okay, cool. So like, yeah, we could do that. Like an input field or a date picker or something like that would be great. Good use case. So going back to when it comes to like full blown e-commerce stores, and you have like these product collections, and you have these huge things of products. Sometimes a migration is hard to do, and it's challenging, but a lot of times it's worth it. Like I've seen huge stores migrate from one platform to another platform, and it was a big, huge undertaking, but it ended up paying a bunch of dividends in the long run. But before you sort of take the risk of jumping into like $100,000 migration for a massive store with hundreds or thousands of SKUs, if not more, why not test how much better a new platform could be for you, instead of taking the risk? If you're, in my opinion, North is one of the better platforms out there even at this point. But I think what's one thing that you could always do, and this is something that we are starting to set up with some clients as well right now, is setting up a split test for North Commerce. So you have your existing store, and you might have, let's say you have 100 products, and then we take the top 5 or top 10 of products sold on your store. We create a little micro store with North, and then we just start split testing it. So we'll drive traffic to both stores, and then see which one after like a week or two converts better. So we kind of so what we do is we typically look like, okay, well, where are you driving traffic from? Is it paid ads? Okay, cool. These ads are working. These creatives make sense, and our click-through rate is great. And here's our conversion rate when it comes to our store when they actually land on the page and purchase something. And then we will basically duplicate those campaigns, drive traffic to North Commerce, and then see what the results would be. And so my hunch is that in a lot of cases, because North is so much faster and easier to use, um, you would see more conversions. And so I'll have like more real data soon when we start to test this with actual clients. But that could be, going to driving traffic to a collections page, or we could create a landing page that has like an array of products. I have an interesting story about that soon. Let me see what some of these comments though. Ethan says, so normally now I have people check out, then I have to drop them on a form where I ask extra info, but then they have to re-enter their name, email, etc. So it feels clunky. Yes, that's annoying. Um, Collecting all the information all at once is a good idea if it's, and then like even if you wanted to redirect to a custom form like with North, you could add like form data to like the URL and even get the data pre-populating like another form too. Nazim says, really want/need ability to create blocks components as we want to style them. But if you have Gutenberg components, but individual bits so we can choose what to insert, so be it. Yeah, so I'd love to do like a workshop or a live on Gutenberg, the block editor. We're not even calling it Gutenberg anymore. We're calling it the block editor now. And so I think 6.3 will be a good update, and I think you'll be surprised how much you could do with the block editor. I've always been a fan, and I've been messing around with it, and then I started playing with Ollie. It's like a block theme by Mike McAllister, I think, and it's like opened my eyes to how much you can do with the block editor now. And so we should do a video. Maybe I get him on. We do like a block editor video. That'd be cool. But yeah, I think eventually too we'll have. Of course, we'll have modules for other builders as well. Okay, so going back to e-commerce, one of the biggest things too, I think with being on a platform for so long, and sometimes what happens is you get comfortable, and so some things I've seen too, like when I've helped rebuild stores for people on various platforms, Shopify, WooCommerce, whatever, is like I go to them, I see like, oh wow, you guys are doing great revenue, like you guys are doing like $60K a month, nice, okay, here's your I'll kind of audit their conversion flow and check their whatever analytics they might have. It might just be whatever's included in the solution. Maybe they have a third party solution, and I sort of investigate all that stuff. And then I see like, oh wow, like there's some super obvious things that they're not doing that could increase their conversions or their average order value, or like their comeback rate or whatever for customers. And sometimes like business owners just like get caught up in the business, and it's like, here's what's working. I haven't even gone through my own checkout flow in months, and so like customers are purchasing, so I guess it's fine, it makes sense. And so when it comes to like these split tests with like your existing solution and North Commerce, it's a great way to also like kind of go back into your business and like reevaluate what's working and what's not working. And then in a lot of cases, like when you migrate to like say North, or you redesign your store or something, you have a lot of time to like reflect over what's not working, and like so maybe things that you've already known need to be fixed, but you haven't taken the time to do it yet, and so like there's a lot of benefits to going in and sort of like reevaluating the process, and seeing, or even discovering for the first time just like what's not working. Like, oh wow, so like we're doing 60K, but if we change this to that, then that'll work, and then that solves everything. So that was a kind of an experience we had recently. Me and my cousin I rebuilt this e-commerce store, and they were doing about 60K a month, and they weren't doing some obvious things, and so we just implemented those obvious things, made it easier for them to made their checkout experience a lot easier. And then in this case, they have like a catalog of a lot of the same product but different styles of that product. And And so instead of going to like driving traffic to a collections page, and where you're seeing hundreds of different products and the styles of those products, and then in order to view more, you have to click onto it, and you're like, this one I don't like, I'm gonna go back, and then it's like the experience of like these larger catalog stores that have the same product but just tons of different variations of that product make it can make the user experience like almost like debilitating, because there's so many options, and it's like, well, what looks good, what doesn't look good, and then you end up like just not buying anything because you're like, I can't decide. So what we ended up doing was we took like their top 15 products, or no, top 12 products. We created a landing page, and then what happened was inside of the product page, you have options, right? So like you have all of these options for this specific product. So I have this one single product, and I have these options that make up a variation for that product. So what we did was we said, okay, like let's just choose one size. There's an extra large size for this particular product, and that's the best seller anyway, the extra large one. And instead of having variations for that specific product, like extra large and maybe like the color or whatever, we're gonna just give you the size that everyone already wants, and then now we're going to just have you select which specific product you want directly from the product page itself, and then have some more information about the product underneath, and kind of like a little landing page or sales page type thing. But as you clicked, every product would you could select any product you wanted right here, and then just add it to cart. And so instead of having to go to a big collection view and see every product and click it, and then it's like, no, I'm go back, you could see every product directly on the product page as an option on the product page, and then every time you clicked, the image would appear, and you would see this great big image of that particular variation of the product. And then if you want it, you just click add to cart, and then you would check out. And so it was like this totally like super simple update, where it's like, okay, well, let's take the resistance out of going through a collection page and just have all the products on one product page and have them look like options. And it wasn't even like we created a new product with all these options. It was just like, here's the IDs of that particular product, and every time you clicked it, that ID would be selected, and you could add to cart. So it was like a super simple implementation, and that converted super well. So I think now, like we're driving ads, we're running paid, or my cousin's running paid traffic to them, and they're doing like 120K. So they've doubled their revenue like in a month and a half or 2 months, and I think they've consistently been hitting those numbers too. And so those little things like that we can implement for your e-commerce store can help you double your revenue, like in a perfect world. I mean, even if you increase your revenue by 10, 15, 20%, like that's huge. And so so that's kind of like what we're wanting to do from the North Commerce side is, okay, cool. We've sort of have we have the core features of North pretty much done. We want now to help you convert more customers, make more money, and then ultimately like just make your whole experience as a store owner a lot easier, especially when it comes to like the admin side, fulfilling, managing customer service stuff, managing orders and customers and all that stuff. I think North takes a lot of that sort of like resistance or pain away from your existing solution. So I think that's so that was one of the things that we did that was super, super helpful to them. And I think that as you start to like see other stores, it's like, okay, you don't have to convince a client, say if you're a freelancer. I know there's a lot of freelancers in the Discord, or agencies as well. You don't have to convince a client to like migrate over. And if they want to, then I'd love to help them do that as well. But at the very least, I think setting up a little micro store split test could be super, super beneficial to the store owner, to see the value of North, to see what using a newer, faster system could do for their conversions. And so, let me know in the chat if you guys have any experiences with doing sort of like revamps or migrations, and or if you have something you want to try something, let's do it together. I'd love to help you. I'd love to help you do that. I'll let the stream catch up again, and if anyone has anything in chat, let me know. Okay, so it's about been 37 minutes or so. I like to keep these. I like to keep these in like the 30-minute window. I'm a little over, but it's okay. It's a good conversation. Any other comments or questions or thoughts before I head out? So one of the things too, we haven't pushed an update. I said last week we'd push an update probably this Monday, but someone's actually requested that we're working with a specific like requirement or rule inside of coupons, and that's going to be customer tags. And so we've added that, and then we'll probably push an update like maybe tomorrow. So we ended up adding another feature to coupons, and it'll be super, super helpful. So like basically like when I don't know if I have it on this branch, but basically when a customer is tagged a specific tag. So if you go to customers here and you add a tag to the customer, then a specific coupon could work. So say like you know if you tagged a customer, you know, like VIP or new, or maybe it's a specific product they purchased, then they qualify for that. So we'll also probably end up adding customer tags for products. So like if a specific customer purchases a specific product, then they'll get a specific tag. And so that'll be cool. And then you can also manually add customer tags. So it'll be worth it. And the update will come soon, but it's just been delayed because we were adding that one new thing. Okay, I appreciate everyone watching. Looks like there's no more comments or questions. If you do have any questions or comments or thoughts or want to get connected, you can always email me at hello@northplugins.com. You can join the Discord and we could chat there. Or you could just message on the website. And I know I'm probably blocking this, but you could message the live chat right there. I think you can see it. And I'm happy to help. So thank you so much. Next week and the week after, I'm not going to be doing lives. I'll be in Mexico, but I'll still be connected to the internet. And if you guys need help, I'm here for you. So thanks.